What's that?
Perfect.
You want to be that guy?
Bro.
Good morning. Good morning.
That
Good
countdown got me
morning.
going. That countdown got me going.
I like it.
Well done. Well done, everyone. So, Brad, I thought you were to my right a second ago.
I'm over here. I'm over there. Don, comic book Don in the
Yeah,
house.
hang on. We're fixing that. Hang on.
Yeah.
We watched.
Yeah.
What did you
Hey,
do?
stop.
Move your dog?
Someone repoed his house. Oh, what is that?
Oh man, it looks like a Pink Floyd album. Ah,
I'm on the
no, now
streets.
you're in jail.
The
Where's
wall.
the piano?
With the wall.
All right, fine. I'll play the most.
There it
Hey,
Yeah,
there
there's
you
Don.
go.
And where's the dong on your piano? That
Where's the
award.
wood?
Remember that award?
The Dong Award.
The dong.
Oh
Oh.
yeah, the golden wiener.
It's hidden. You gotta find it.
We call that an Easter egg.
Yeah, they're coming. Hang on. Ignore this noise.
Oh,
It's not a beer. I
Ooh.
promise.
starting early.
Should be. No, it's almost mimosa time for me. What day is? Oh hell yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Mimosa
baby.
Day.
I'm on a regular diet today, so that
You
coulda
know what?
come
I
soon.
hope everybody that might be listening to this right now, whether live or in the future, join me tomorrow at 9 Eastern with a mimosa because I will be here. Mainly champagne, a little bit of orange juice.
And then you know what we should do? We should
I'll have them.
on at DCTV or at TV Decentralized on our Twitter. Everybody should be sharing what they're drinking during the live stream.
Boom. Why not?
Oh,
That's what we should do. That's what we should do.
Just know whether you see it on TV or not. It is definitely a monster.
I like that.
Whatever
The
you say.
white ones and the orange ones are the best ones at the 0.
You know what's funny is that can was designed just for women. That's why it's textured.
What does that mean? What the fuck?
yeah.
Was that a joke? Because that was funny.
You're the one drinking it. What's going
Yeah,
on?
well, that's what's funny is
It is a
women-
textured can, though. I'll never be able to drink a monster the same way again. Thanks a
No,
lot.
so
Oh,
women
shit.
weren't actually a big part of their demographic. They were trying to reach out to women, and then men are like, "These taste great," and then so everyone just switched over to
But-
the white.
Outside of condoms, why would women want textured cans? Why do you want textured anything?
I'm
For
asking
pleasure.
you. You're the woman. I don't know.
That's the
Oh,
only
you're
thing
the
my
one-
nasty brain goes to, and that's why I'm not going to ever be able to drink a monster the same way again because now I just put veins instead of a
Textured.
can. So
Your
it's a
pleasure.
lot. What is this shit? What?
Go get the
Can we
smooth can.
start
Go get
over?
that boring smooth.
Oh my god! I
Like,
fucking love this show, guys.
Somebody, Lord Fenrir is going to find out. Explain why a textured can would attract women to a drink.
Oh god, I don't know if you really want him finding out.
Maybe not. Maybe
Walk into
ask
the
Val to do
thing.
it. Val, can you please find this out? Why? What kind of marketing? What is that?
You know, that's like Viagra, right? Viagra wasn't originally meant for ED.
Wasn't?
It's a
No, it was
vasodilator.
blood pressure.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
what?
yeah. Okay, it's for like asthmatics.
No, it's for high blood pressure.
Yeah, that too. I
Really?
mean,
You can imagine the first scientists or doctors checking on the patient like, "Whoa, bro!"
That's,
All right, let's see if your
Oh,
BP's
side
down.
effect.
God damn.
that's how it
all
happened
its side
too.
effect.
Like
All its side effect.
they did their little test group, and everyone was like, "Hey, listen, there's a situation,"
Everyone wearing
and then everyone's doing it.
If
Why
you
is it
really
down
want to
here?
attract women to this space,
Right.
Yeah, I've driven all the women off of my channel. If you look at my demographics, it's like 100% male.
Oh,
I'll
now
say
I
this.
understand, Don. Do
Yeah,
better.
they probably don't like my relationship advice. It's some of the best. It's
Oh
top
Lord,
tier.
here we go. Give me some bullet points, Don. Let's.
Oh,
kind of
you gotta be
relationship.
really caught in the moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I knew some. It'll come. It's
Yeah, I
we're
was
not
gonna
gonna be
say
here live without me dropping any
they'll
relationship
show up.
advice.
They'll show
All right,
up.
fair enough. I like
All right,
that.
let's get
Don's
into it.
fun,
So,
Don's fun.
real quick, we'll come back to all this shit, but we got to pay the bills. So, guys, welcome to DCTV. We got a lot of topics to talk about, and it's kind of going to be off the chain. It's not Friday yet, but it's certainly going to feel like one. I think it already does this morning so far. But right now, looking at the futures, 6.75 is where we have the S&P is down, so pretty much flat. The Dow's also down flat, down 58 points. Nasdaq's only down 450. I'm actually a little bit encouraged by this because over this entire week, it's been crazy. We saw some wild moves Monday, Tuesday. Everything kind of shot up, and then everything's kind of leveled off. You know, in the past, and it's still early yet, we can still see a significant downturn on whatever the hell goes on. North Korea shooting off missiles, or Russia
Finding Nemo. That's all. They're just shooting missiles into the ocean.
right? Russia shooting off missiles. And you know, we'll see what happens with all that. Energy crisis is certainly still very much in conversation. We'll talk about some of that too. But guys, before we get into anything, make sure you check out the link in the chat and in the description. We are DCTV. You can go check out our Discord, which is absolutely free. You want to hang out and get into some more shenanigans? That's the place to be, where you can fuck around and find out.
Absolutely. And if you
And the more you do one, the more you'll find out about the other.
That's right.
absolutely. Want to add or subtract to Don Fran's texture comment? Join the Discord. Let's get hot.
That's right. Hey, you want to find out why Monster has textured cans? Go to Discord.
I only bring the facts.
Brett, I am going to bring up though that you do look like a damn glamour shot. You look amazing. I very much like the setup and the lighting.
It's listen, I've had a lot of years practice on the lighting, so
it's good.
But I appreciate it.
Are you in Alcatraz, or like where are you?
I'm in Bmore. Actually, visiting Fat Man Zoom.
Oh, nice.
Our regards to Fat Man Zoom, please.
Yeah, of course.
You stop by the Ravens facility and have them take care of their contract negotiations with Lamar, so we can get on.
I know, right? I know. I gotta get with my boy Colin, ask him what the fuck's going on there.
I can shoot him a text for you.
I actually did tour the M&T Bank Statement one time. My boy Colin set us up for a man meal, and we had it right there in the media room, the press room, in the stadium. Cool. And we toured the whole stadium. Yeah, it was really cool. But
very nice.
But yeah, speaking of Lamar Jackson and contracts, you guys should also go check us out at Chaos Sports Tampa. And I just started a new YouTube channel as well. If you guys are interested in talking everything sports, really everything football, we're going to be having 2 videos come out today regarding the NFL games that are going to be coming out. And I got to say, Tam, it's not looking like there's too many good matchups this weekend, so I'm going to be on a struggle bus, but we're going to talk about it anyway. And then Tampa will be talking about her college game day sports as well, or football as well, and some of the matchups that she's looking at this weekend. So if you guys want to learn and talk more about that, go check us out at Chaos Sports as well. So let's get into what we got going on for today over here at DCTV. Tam, this is the first one, so let's just get into the what the fuck moments of the day. You had ended up sharing an article with us off camera on just the shit that's going on within the Senate. So if you guys haven't seen any of this going on, we haven't talked about it much, and I feel like we should talk about it more. The Senate, the House voted on a bill to ban essentially lawmakers from trading in the stock market. And if anybody has not kept track of this, they crush it. We should be learning from all of the from Speaker Pelosi, from everybody.
Right here.
Here's the chart, Brad, that Tampa also supplied. Look at the return. So SPY is way at the bottom. Return on investment. So you invested on SPY, there you are.
Right at the bottom. You barely see it.
Yeah. Everybody else. Damn. I wish I had inside information like that.
Right. So at the very bottom, that's what. Is everybody else hearing the echo? Are we back on the echo again?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the echo.
All right. Everybody mute except me.
All right.
All right. So if you look, and there's still an echo, so it doesn't matter. So what this is, if we can do it, if you look at the very bottom, the SPY at the bottom is the market record. And lots of Democrats and Republicans beat the shit out of the market. They should start their own Patreon trading channels. It's amazing.
Let's all come back in common. Guys, how do we get in on this game?
You just trade.
Oh, man.
I mean, if you're active in the markets, being the spy, not that hard. As long as you are active, like I know there's an echo, sorry, but people that say like, oh, I'm beating the S&P, like if you were ever to be close, just buy the S&P anyway. It's a lot less work. It's not that bad, but they definitely do have an advantage with insider information as to what they're gonna bring up next. The easiest one that gets the spotlight is Nancy Pelosi because of her deals with Google. So anytime if you've been watching Google or Meta, did the echo go away or did I just get muted? Are we good?
No, we're good.
Oh, there we go. Anytime Google or Meta get a monopoly lawsuit brought up against them, it's just a dip buy. That is just the impression them on the outside, like, hey, we're about to split this company up. Then some offhand deals get made. Nancy Pelosi gets paid for speeches. She got paid for a speech for Google. It didn't even show up. They just said, keep the money. It was like basically like an IOU. I'll do a speech later. So you can't say those deals don't ever happen.
No doubt.
They're just blatant in your face.
And remember when COVID broke out, there was a meeting on this, and then all of a sudden there are all these politician-related transactions or relatives of the politicians just going at it. Certain purchases, certain sales, very timely.
And you'd do it too if you were in there. I don't blame them, but
that's done.
Yeah.
Okay. Allow it or don't allow it, but don't punish a few and then allow the rest.
What they did was they said you have to show your positions. That's fair, but it's the fine that they give you for being late. It's like $100. It's like nothing serious.
200. Yeah, it's $200 whole dollars after you make millions. And if you declare late, you have a $200 fine. That's it. I wish with the rest of us got treated that way by the IRS.
Yeah. So here's the issues that I have with this, and this is what makes it fucking hilarious. Nancy Pelosi scoffed at the idea of banning lawmakers from trading individual stocks as recently as December, saying that she and her colleagues would be able to fully participate in the free market economy. Yet you motherfuckers created laws against financial professionals from actually trading themselves. So if we are in a free country and everybody should be able to trade freely, then they should be too. I used to work for T. Rowe Price, a financial institution, and I was limited to 3 trades per month that I could make, and I had to disclose every single trade that I made to FINRA. So legally, I was so constricted as a financial professional, and I was in the damn business. So these motherfuckers are out there doing whatever they want. Conflicts of interest just doesn't matter to them. You look at CNBC, for example, you look at mainstream media, anybody who's involved in the markets like that, and they're also restricted and very limited on what they can trade. Most of them only to mutual funds. Yet Nancy Pelosi and her cronies, and that's exactly what it is. It's cronyism. Can do whatever the fuck they want. It makes no sense to me. And this bill actually did go through the House of Representatives and fell flat. No surprise, right? And this is probably going to be as likely to get passed as gun control or term limits, right? Like they're not going to make a law that's not going to be in their interest, and that's the shame of it all. And for those of you who might be thinking that I'm right leaning or left leaning on this, it doesn't matter. You look at that chart, the graphic that Jaime put up, and I can't remember what it was. One of the Republicans was crushing everybody. So it's on both sides of Here
it comes.
So it's on both sides of the aisle here. This is just a red or a blue problem. It's a cronyism problem. It's a Washington problem, and I don't know how it's ever going to get taken care of unless somebody actually has the balls to step up and say, hey, you know what, guys, this isn't right. And I don't know if that'll ever happen.
You nailed it, Brad. Go ahead, Jaime.
Pressure from for everybody. Hey, if you're in the industry, it's because you understand the industry, and when you speak as a financial representative, hey, we're doing in full disclosure, we're investing this, full transparency. Instead of this, you cannot participate. And I think that's one of the limitations in terms of the government. Even when you work for the government, your entire life is under the microscope.
Yep.
Like you give up so many other things even if you come from that industry. So, and then when you see this, it's like, guys, just open it up. Let everyone.
I think this is kind of known because their salaries are crap. They don't actually make that much.
No,
Right.
they make
I mean,
250,000. Their salaries is $250,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah, which is decent, but I mean, considering the power they have, you would think your salary would be more. I think this is more of a it comes with the territory kind of thing, which is why we'll struggle a lot with this actually getting changed.
Yeah, people want to come in the first place. But the reason that I brought this up as well is, Jaime, if you can pull up that the Washington Free Beacon article that came with it. So right here, not only did Pelosi and her cronies make an absolute killing, now all of a sudden she wants to, on the surface, it looks like she's flip-flopping. So now all of a sudden on her way out, she wants to, pull the ladder up behind her, so to speak, and all of a sudden make it illegal for lawmakers to trade while they're holding office. But if you actually read the article, what this is a good try by her to try to maybe gain some red-leaning, understanding a little bit right before the elections. But if you look and go down into the article, it says that this bill was, quote, written to create confusion surrounding reform efforts and complete a straightforward reform priority. Basically, what she proposed and masked as we don't want lawmakers to vote in office is a way to enter blind trust trading into the system. So it would create an entire new process for fact checkers and whistleblowers to have to look at blind trust that cannot be looked into, and basically allow a new path forward for a worse version of this type of insider trading to continue happening. But it's all masked up as, hey, lawmakers shouldn't be allowed to trade. And it's just crazy. Like, at least get rid of individual trades, right? At least limit lawmakers to sector trading only and not individual trades. I mean, the conflict of interest here is laughable.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's like for people like me, though, I'm glad I'm in this conversation. I love this stuff because I don't get insider information. So when I get to see their stuff, like, now I know what they're doing. It's not hard to put the pieces together. Like, this is like catching someone who's cheating. Oftentimes they just get better at not getting caught. I think this got blown up. So that's why, and everyone knows people just read the headlines. So of course, Nancy's the one that took the spotlight on all this, just like the whole Robinhood fiasco with, selling the order flow. Everyone does it, but all of a sudden everyone makes a big deal about Robinhood. So it's no wonder that Nancy's the one trying to put this up, try to clear her name that way. Just like, no, don't worry, guys. We understand. We hear you. We're gonna take care of this. And that's what that title says. The article says something. We're gonna do it completely different. Don't you worry.
Yep, exactly. This is absolutely a boy who cried wolf type of moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on your side.
Exactly.
And if you're not going to restrict them, if you don't want to restrict yourself, at least make your trades public as you make them.
Right.
And that's the point that I'm getting at. Like, when I worked in this profession, that's what I had to do. The second I made a trade, the firm that I worked for knew about it, and that's how it should be here as well.
To play devil's advocate, though, think of how fast that would spiral out of control. Because right now, I know a politician did something, and I'm in it because I see what's going on, and a lot of people are just really dumb to that fact. The second everyone figures out that Nancy Pelosi just bought, and it's today, everyone buys in, it turns everything into an early stage Bitcoin, and it just spirals things out of control.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm not saying that that's what we should do. I'm just saying if you're not going to restrict yourselves from making trades, that would be the alternative, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point, is clarity, absolute transparency and clarity. That way, as a community, as a civilization, we all know where we're at. I understand what you're saying, Don, because they're called a herd for a reason. They don't do thinking for themselves. They'll follow. So even that joke on poor Jim Cramer creating an ETF or an inverse ETF on him, I'll create an ETF for each one of these politicians. Hey, what are they doing?
You're right.
Follow that,
Yeah.
But that would be the transparency mechanism of what's going on. But how do you control the herd? I mean, the herd mentality, not the herd people, but the actual, okay, they're doing it, I'm running in there.
Exactly. You limit them to sector trading. That's how.
Yeah. Mutual funds, right? Just limit them to mutual funds and let that be that. And that's essentially what everybody else who is in an industry where a conflict of interest exists is limited to. And if you work for CNBC, for example, you're only able to buy mutual funds and that's it.
The reality is they'll likely make something that bans us from trading long before they get banned from trading.
Oh, you and I
Good
both
point.
know that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
We're encroaching on their space. Like that's the difference. Like they say it's a free market, but that's the joke.
Right.
This is why people get into politics. You look at Tommy Tuberville. That dude was an amazing collegiate level coach and goes into politics, and all of a sudden his net worth skyrockets. That's a complete who you know game right there.
Oh my God. Cronyism.
Come on, Tommy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cronyism.
And I don't blame him. I guess I'd do the same thing if somebody walked in my house and said, "You want to make a lot of money? You just got to get into politics." I'd probably do it too.
And that's human nature. How do you take human nature out of politics, out of running a country, out of all this stuff? It's
Good question.
quite difficult.
Yep. Absolutely.
Get
All right, moving on. The next what the fuck moment today, we have two of them. DJ Pauly D went on Fox News yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to see the whole video. I got little snippets of it, but I think that this is pretty crazy, making arguments for parents to pay their kids' bills and that sort of thing. Tamp or Jaime, I know you both watch it. Why don't you go ahead and elaborate on this a little bit?
Yeah, it's just a cringeworthy moment. And a lot of times when stuff like this comes in and just extreme like weirdness happens, a lot of times it's called for either the top or the bottom of a market. I'm not saying the bottom of the market is in because of this, but damn if I'm not looking for the top of the bottom. Hopefully we are beginning to bottom on this. But yeah, DJ Pauly goes on Fox News, and basically the reporter spends 3 minutes making fun of millennials because he's saying that their parents pay for everything, and that's crazy. Then the Fox News anchor basically incriminates himself and says his parents paid for everything when he was of age as well. And then he just asks DJ Pauly to explain inflation, and Pauly says, well, everything goes up, even the cost of my pool guy. And then they announce an event in Michigan promoting spicy Mountain Dew. So at the end of the day, this very quickly stopped being about news before it even started, and sponsorships are everywhere. So thank you, Fox News. You are the same thing as CNN. CNN is the same thing as Fox News. You both suck. And that is your cringe-worthy moment of the day, brought to you by two sides of the spectrum that are the same.
Okay, so it was actually nothing, right? He just came on and said inflation means everything goes up.
Yeah, even his pool guy.
And they're complaining about how adult children are depending so much, and like pretty old children still depend, getting cell phone, everything from cell phone to car to rent payment, grocery payments. That's the reality they're facing. And it's funny because DJ Pauly said, well, my parents had me split the value of the car. And then the newscaster is like, well, my parents pay for my whole car, but I pay for the fuel though. I pay for the
It's like,
what a rough life.
yeah, come on, guys.
This can't be the general thing that's happening in this country, can it? I mean, I never asked my parents once for a dime the minute I turned 18. I never asked them for $1, and I just continued to carve my own way, right? Whether I was poor, I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together, I was living off of ramen, whatever. The last thing I was doing is running back to my folks and asking them for money. I mean, does that mean I'm in the minority or not?
I think it's your life experience. Like I had the same thing. I lived in Chile at the time, graduated, told my parents I'm going to New York. They're like, fuck, okay, go. Don't you come back. And sure enough, you just had to fend for yourself. But I'm seeing like the younger generation, family, relatives included, they're having a challenge launching themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mechanics are behind it.
And I wonder what the deal is too, because I grew up in a middle-class family. While growing up, my parents paid for everything. But once I hit 18 and started thinking about going to college, especially once I started to finish up and graduate college, I didn't want my parents to pay for anything anymore. I tried my best to go out, get my own job, get my own place. And, you trickle, like, you stay on their insurance for a little bit, or you have to slowly grab the cell phone bill from them. But eventually I wanted my autonomy. I wanted all that. And I was willing to work for it because I didn't want to play by the rules under my parents' house. Their rules are their rules, and that's fine. But if I don't want to follow them, then go do it your damn self. Right. So I don't know if kids are just too comfortable today because you can retreat into your room and escape into a computer or a cell phone or whatever and act like you're not even at home when you are. So it's more comfortable to be at home these days compared to, when I was coming up, we didn't have all that. It was, play by your parents' rules or go do it your own way. And I'm not saying that everything's the exact same today as it was when I was younger, especially economy wise. But when you look at the list of things that parents are paying for with their adult children living under their roof, some of it is inexcusable. Cell phone bills, car payments, these sort of things. Like, just don't pay for that stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think all this entitlement crap is really just creeping up on everybody and their ability to just whine and bend things to their will. Because everyone's just like so tired of hearing people cry that they just give them stuff. I think that's what's led to a lot of this.
iPads. Here, just take an iPad.
Yeah.
Get out of my hair.
Like the cool thing about it is technology. So like, kids are just, the old people just don't know it. The new kids, they just grew up with it. There's that cool part about it. But there is just the iPad became the babysitter. And it was just easier to give the kid a lollipop than to hear him cry, but it doesn't teach them how to do anything in themselves. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think we're going off topic now, but I definitely know I can't stand it. With the way I see people cry, though, I do think the minority are out there taking care of themselves. Everyone else knows they got that little safety net of mommy and daddy to come back in,
which scares me as a economy in general. Like, what does this mean in terms of consequences because they're on the backs of their own parents.
Yeah.
They're not able to launch. So now you have the weight of their own lives, the children on top.
And the one part that I really, what I'm hearing now is like people just figure it out. Like everyone's like, well, the times are different now than it was like for my parents. My parents, they got to buy a house, it was like, I get it, mortgage to income ratio. They still had to go figure it out. They didn't have the technology. They were still doing things a lot harder. They didn't know how easy they what we think is a lot easier. Like, oh, we could afford that. Like the workload, I think, was actually still the same. There's still the same amount of figuring it out. Just in today's world, there's not a lot of figuring it out. It's either I have Google or someone else can do it, or I'll just complain. And they find a way to weasel their way out of things.
Good point.
All right.
Love you guys.
Rants are over. Okay.
Are they though?
I'll be
at least for the moment. So I wanted to get on to Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin is stuck nearly 20,000 and looking for a surge in volatility. This is a title from Barron's this morning that came out. Jaime, feel free to share my screen there. You can see here. One thing that I thought that stuck out to me, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, and Jaime, feel free to go to the charts on this one. Don, you too. But one comment that kind of stuck out for me in this article was that Bitcoin's ability to build on gains will depend on the potential for further weakness in the economic data this week, which I thought was interesting because Bitcoin's been following, with the exception of the month of September, following the market for the most part, and also quoted as saying that Bitcoin has shown resilience to sell-offs, though, so a failure for the data to deliver could see it well supported. I'm interested to hear what your guys' thoughts on this, because up until the last month or so, economic data has influenced the movement of Bitcoin, and the overall market has influenced the movement on Bitcoin and tech in particular. So if economic data comes out weak, do we see a surge in tech, or is it just Bitcoin? Why would a comment like this be made?
So I can start with this, and Don, I'll start with my rainbow shit.
Appreciate it, Jaime.
Yes, and then you can take it to the professional level, Don. Let's professionalize this. But the comment in that article you were mentioning, Brad, is the fact that it's coiling, it's consolidating. It seems to have stayed in a position, and usually that's a sign of market volatility coming in. So the way I look at it, looking at it as a chart, literally this candle right here is the month of September that we just witnessed, where it had a slight rally and it just held this line, this Fibonacci line, as support. At this moment, we're lifting off from it. I don't much look at the news themselves. What I'm looking for here at this moment is, okay, what is it going to do? Will it come back up to the 23,500 level where that resistance Fibonacci is holding? Or will it bounce off of it? Or will it just turn around all of a sudden and drop below? We don't know yet. So that's what we're supposed to be watching. And on the monthly level, this is where I'm at now before I pull any triggers, is the 50 moving average. So now I just moved from the weekly to the monthly. On the 50, we have, I'm sorry, on the monthly, we have the 50, this green 50 moving average. If we break it and test it as support, meaning we cross this candle, becomes a nice green dildo, and we hold 22,300 as support, in my opinion, my own opinion, in my own research, I would say, okay, we have seen the bottom. We can continue moving north. If we do not reach it by end of October and we stay below it, I believe we would now reach down to the next support level, which is around 13.5, between 17,000 and 13.8, with some wicks, some nice little profit wicks available.
To about like the 11.8 mark.
Yes, sir. Maybe 11.7, to be honest with you.
Just to be clear, below 12.
Okay.
It ain't gonna be 10.
By the way, for all you viewers who have not been privy to this, there is an open, I don't know if it's a bet or a challenge between Tamp and Don, of 12,000 is the floor. Don Franz says 11,008. So anywhere between 11,008 and 12,000, if the price range is there, it's a tie. But if it stays above 12,000, or if it goes below 11.8, Don Franz is on the 11.8 camp. Tamp is on the 12,000 camp, where it stays above it. So it's going to be exciting times, guys, pretty soon. And Don, if you want to share your screen or make comments, I can.
Mine's not, I can't share my screen, but maybe that's when my computer starts freaking out anyway. I shared it in Discord though. You only need one image on this.
Okay.
If you want to pull that up.
Yes. Let me unshare just in case what I'm looking at pops up.
But when the market goes sideways like this, I think a lot of people get antsy. And that's where I wouldn't make decisions. You know, we don't need to worry about this at the bottom or the top. You know, I don't think it is at all. But the longer something stays somewhere, someone feels like a decision has to be made. And then so it's like, this could be the bottom. The longer it stays sideways, it goes, this is the bottom, for sure the bottom. I'm buying, I'm loading up. Like, your decisions just get more and more, and it hasn't done anything, you know, at all. So this is where bad decisions get made. Like, you can wait for a break and then buy it. Like, you can just wait for a breakdown and watch it go to my $12,000 mark. But you know, if we look at it there, if we do zoom out, this is largely just going sideways. On the daily, you know, it's just bouncing back and forth. We're seeing some volatility, and people are getting hyper-focused on these little tiny moves. Bitcoin going 10% in 15 minutes is like a normal thing. We haven't seen that in a long time. So this characteristically is just Bitcoin going sideways, you know, waiting for the next thing. The next big run, I think, on Bitcoin is going to be when the dollar fails. There will be a hedge against the dollar. That's what Bitcoin was the last time, or it's the reason I got in it, at least. Coincidence or not, that's when the dollar started selling off, Bitcoin started going up. Dollar's going rampant. It's about halfway to the all-time high mark. We're at some serious levels now. But should the dollar break up and continue higher? Well, actually, I don't know on this one, because the dollar continued going higher and Bitcoin quit going down. But I do think on the way down, Bitcoin, possibly even, I know you guys don't want to hear this, gold, I think a lot of people will be looking as a hedge against the dollar. And I've been very serious on my streams about this. Like, one of these two need to be on your watch list. But I know the rants, you guys said the rants are over.
No rant. This is good.
I think Bitcoin's about to fool some people. There's articles like this coming out, and I think Bitcoin's going to pop up even to that top blue box. And people are going to think, oh my gosh, green candle, it's up. and they're going to get excited, and they haven't zoomed out just to see this isn't really anything for Bitcoin. They're forgetting what Bitcoin truly is. Like, until this thing is what are we talking about with the politicians? What's the word I'm looking for?
Insider trading?
Where they bring in the rules,
Regulation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until this thing is regulated, Bitcoin is still the Wild West. Like, it's still us controlling the price and the movement of it. So after regulation, then it'll look like most other things. But until then, Bitcoin can move some dollars, and it's not moving anything right now. So these articles, I think they're just getting people excited with it.
I love it.
I would just pump the brakes on the excitement, not to rain on anyone's parade, but
I think you're dead on this one, Don. I'm in 100% agreement with you. And I actually do encourage people, if they're looking for a hedge against the dollar and gold is where you're comfortable in going, then go ahead and go to gold, but don't just stop there. Why do I say that? Because if you understand why you're in gold and then you continue to look at why people say gold and Bitcoin, then you'll inevitably search or learn more about Bitcoin, and you will see why Bitcoin is better than gold, and you'll feel more comfortable about putting some of your money in there until you're all the way comfortable with it. So I'm okay with stepping stones. I think they're necessary. So go ahead and hedge gold, but just don't stop. Just look at why people say gold and Bitcoin.
Yeah. Just don't do wait and see. Like, actually get engaged, do your research, and do something about your own and your children's future.
Yeah, I think the answer to this lies in the dollar. When that makes its final turn, not a red candle on the daily, like when that makes its final turn, that trend changes, that's when we're going to know who's right between me and Tamp. Like, that's when we're going to figure out all the answers.
I agree. That's why I mentioned, I think I was on Own the Chaos a couple days ago, and I mentioned that if there is some sort of international agreement to stop rate hikes for the moment, I think we're going to see some massive candles. And I called that, and Don, you're backing me up on that. I mean, it's just, if you have to stop, the currency basically for whatever reason is, you're going to see some massive candles on hedges.
And if we throw in there the OPEC Plus decision, where they are reducing production, which creates scarcity and raises the value of oil. We have to look at how that fits into this whole picture also, besides the interest rates. So there's a lot of things in the world coming to a head that affects the dollar itself and also affects the global economy.
Hang tight right now.
Where did this rumor come from about the whole we're going to stop rate hikes?
It came from, what is Credit Suisse? Yeah, the possibility that they were insolvent and would become insolvent if the U.S. didn't stop raising their interest rates. So there was a rumor, and rumor only, that if there was some sort of international agreement to halt rates for the moment, then we would obviously see some massive moves in the market from that. But nothing has formally happened. This is all speculation.
Well, the EU has also
That's
put pressure on
Yes.
the U.S. for that.
And United Nations also, through the United Nations, saying, guys, slow down the high rates, because there's capital flight at this moment out of everybody else's countries, from their fiat to ours.
Credit Suisse can get wrecked, though. It's ran like a kid in a $200 Robinhood account. I think I actually do. I'm on the side that they do let it burn. Did we not already? This is the exact same rumor. Now, I don't know about the EU and all that doubling down on it. This was the same rumor that caused the last bear market rally. And then the feds came out and said, hey, we've been telling you guys this whole time. Why do we have to repeat ourselves? We're still raising rates. Then everyone jumped off a cliff.
Yep. But I agree with you. This is what we talked about.
Yeah.
Don, I agree with you. And if it was just quote unquote saving a bank, then I agree, let it burn. But the reason I don't think it will actually happen, even though I agree, if it's bad, let it burn, is because of all the pensions linked to that corporation and bank. You're going to let an entire generation of pension burn. And now what do we do with all these people that are older that have to go back into the workforce but can't because they were, looking for their pensions? I don't think politics is going to let that happen. I just don't. Whether you agree with it or not is out of the question.
Is there any way we can bail them out and not the bank?
Good question. That's a great question.
Because if that's the case, because as as they made more money than ever, we saw the top tier salary just balloon up. But now that they're not, that's still there. Their salaries are still there. They're not giving back. And that's what's causing this chokehold on this company. Like I was looking into it a little bit, and that's why I don't care for that bank. Like they could just burn as far as I'm concerned, because it's ran like crap. And they just have it coming. And so that's why I'm curious. Do politicians find a way to bail out anybody in connection with that, but then let them go? Because then you got the big bank that failed. You took care of your people, and then all crashes play out like the 2008, the Lehman Brothers. We had the big ones go out. Now we can turn the ship around.
Yeah, but what precedent are you now setting? I agree. That'd be great. Great scenario. But now it doesn't matter where you put your money, because I know that this is a sort of FDIC political insurance, where if my bank goes down, I'll be okay. I still get my pension. So where do you draw the line with that sort of case study if it were to play out?
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, if you look at what happened with COVID, all of that money that came out was supposed to go to everybody. Who actually got it were the biggest firms. I have friends in small businesses that couldn't even get it.
I didn't get it.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yep.
Or did they just chalk it up to hard
I think I
times?
got $2,200 is what.
Whoa.
And on that FDIC attempt, the insurance, it's only a certain amount. So if you have anything above
250,000.
250, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
cut them a check.
your SOL. So, but the market should decide, not interest, not cronyism, not.
Yeah, you do sign a waiver. Like that is the beginning. Like this is a risky, you know your risks.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone brushes over it, but it kind of goes back to you should have read the small print.
Yeah.
Which, I would hate for that to even talk about it so lightly when someone's life would drastically change.
Many lives.
Yeah.
This is a global situation, guys.
You want to talk about riots and upheavals? I mean,
And then
I just don't see how any political party is going to let them fail. I do not see it happening. Whether we are making great points and agree with it or not, at the end of the day, they're not going to let them fail because of the pensions attached to it. And it's just that simple.
Yeah.
And all the lives.
We'll go to war with something before that happens, and just change the narrative, move the money around.
Yeah. So who to go to war with?
Pardon?
Russia, China, name it.
I know. There's so many choices. Even Russia. It's like, bro.
North Korea.
Yeah, somebody.
We should. You know what we should do? Because I'm getting really tired about hearing about them shooting missiles into the ocean. Let's just land one on their front porch. Like, hey, we're just
The problem,
a dud, nothing real, but
the problem is North Korea is China's front porch.
so they can get some too. Like,
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Okay, so now we know Don's choice.
Sign up.
Let's just start with recording with Don.
I love
All right,
it.
so moving on. Did you guys talk about Elon Musk yesterday at all?
Yeah, we
Okay.
did buying Twitter.
Yeah.
And
So
why?
some things are starting to develop, and I think that this story is obviously going to continue from here. But I thought this was interesting. He came out and tweeted about buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app, and we already have people concerned or mainstream media, I guess, or people on both sides of this, which is interesting to me because Elon doesn't really have a political affiliation. Both sides of the aisle don't really like the guy all that much because he hasn't done any favors for them. And again, we can go back to the cronyism topic, but Elon doesn't really engage in any kind of cronyism. We've seen the Biden administration snub him because he doesn't involve himself in any type of union. And we've seen Trump also say some things about Elon as well. One of the growing concerns is that Elon may end up bringing Trump back to Twitter. Whether or not that happens is neither here nor there, but that's what's getting the conversations started. And I think that this is going to continue to be something worth talking about because Elon's plan here, as you see here on the tweet, is the creating the everything app for X. Now, the one thing that I think is also interesting here is that the platform he's talking about, he's actually had a vision of well before PayPal. And this, the loose interpretation of what he's talking about here, that what Twitter could look like, is something like China's WeChat, which is a Chinese instant messaging, social media, and mobile payment app developed by Tencent. First released in 2011, it became the world's largest standalone mobile app. So there's peer-to-peer transactions that go on in here. There's all kinds of other stuff that takes place within the WeChat platform. Now, obviously, it's state-run, so there's a lot of concerns there as well. But I think that Twitter could very easily be something like that. You know, we've heard Elon talk about how it's a town hall, and he has his own visions for it. The potential for you know, his reputation being tarnished because he may not be able to pull this off is also another discussion that we could have. But you know, I didn't get a chance to listen to you guys too much about this, but this is a story that continues to develop. I don't know if you guys talked about it or not, but any thoughts on what Twitter could actually end up looking like?
I think all of that.
Yes, and imagine a tool that's. Sorry, Don. It's just it's such a simple tool. We did discuss yesterday, just so you know, Brad, about where we get all our news from, and all of us agreed the quickest source I think everybody's using is Twitter. Now tie in sending money. So if there's a situation that occurs globally, shit, I'll just send money to this, send it off to where you can actually react to news with money if it's that easy.
And why is the whole bringing Trump back a big deal? Like, I think they're making a mountain out of a molehill. He was our president. He's not our president anymore. You know, like, so if it comes down to brass tacks, like, how much power does the guy actually have? Like,
they were talking about the reason they don't want Trump back is because it could scare away advertisers that make the platform so valuable.
Correct. So here's the thing about that. I think that if Elon ends up turning this into a PayPal 2.0, in which there's peer-to-peer transactions going on and it's still a social media app, none of that's going to matter. He doesn't give a shit about advertisers at that point, right? Because he's going to make so much money off of the transactions that are made peer-to-peer that advertisers can be on there or they can't, or they choose not to be. I don't think that really matters to Elon. It'll be interesting. I think he's been playing chess this whole entire time on the Twitter debacle, and whether or not he was actually going to move forward with this and the narrative that he was spinning about the bots and whether he was going to buy it or not. I almost wonder if he was going to buy it the whole time and he was just trying to see if he could get it cheaper. I think that was the play.
I can almost guarantee he was trying to get it cheaper. And when he brings back Trump, like, yeah, it's going to scare away the advertisers that have like Twitter that were so far left leaning. It doesn't matter. Like, there's two sides to that coin, because the second he brings back Trump and says this is for everyone because free speech, now the companies that align with that, or even if they don't agree with Trump, they can still say, hey, we support free speech. So while you guys might not agree with them and our company policies don't agree with them, we still support, you know, free speech. Don't follow the guy if you don't want it. It still brings on a lot of people as far as advertisers go. We'll make a big deal about the one guy that goes off crying. Like, big deal. Like you said, Elon paid for this from selling his Tesla shares. Like, the company he'll still make it profitable. Twitter still ran like crap. The only place it can go is up after this.
Absolutely. And
I agree completely.
Here's the boner. After the announcement, there it is. We're still holding at $50.60.
Yeah, and with the sale price at $54.20, there's still some room for that to move to the upside. And I think that there's some nuances there as to whether or not this is actually going to go through. I think it probably will at this point. But when you look at Twitter as a whole and how it might impact those of you in crypto, remember, Elon has been pretty vocal about this. I think that there is going to be some sort of role potentially, and Indo Crypto touched on this a little bit about Doge. We'll see. Doge actually made some pretty decent moves on this news. It was up, I think, 7% on the day of the announcement, and I don't know. We'll see if Doge ends up becoming some sort of currency on Twitter as well. I'd be curious to see what that looks like on Twitter. You guys think that he's going to move forward with that or not?
It looks like this.
Look at that.
Oh yes, he's got to bring it out, Don.
Oh,
yeah, this is the. What's the first?
You ordered it.
Yeah, so yeah, I like to buy all
that
stuff.
You put it. Yeah,
I just never. You had to buy this with Doge, a little Cybertruck. Well, it's the closest thing you'll ever get to a Cybertruck. They never come out with the real thing, but
is it so for people who don't know, that's a a whistle that was sold on Tesla's website. You could only
Cybertruck
buy
whistle.
it with you could only buy it with Doge, and it is inspired by the Cybertruck. Which, hold it up again, Don. It looks like a Cybertruck without wheels. It's
It does,
exactly
it's
what
funny.
it looks like. And so
It's
Don got
actually
it.
pretty heavy too.
What was it, like 1,000 Doge?
Watch.
Yeah, it was like $60 worth of Doge at the time.
Can you? I mean, is it loud? Like, is it like a rape whistle?
Yeah,
or
we
is it
gotta
like
hear.
a
We gotta hear it
train
now.
whistle?
It's so when all the
It
gas
sounds
people
weak
start
sauce,
making-
man.
Well, you know who can hear it? The other people that have EVs. All right.
Dog.
It's when you guys start making fun with all your gas engines. You know, I call on my crew. We come together like the Power Rangers.
Look
you
out your
know?
window. EVs are coming to your
We
house.
silently run you over. We mow you.
Yeah,
down.
but it does sound a little bit like a rig whistle. I feel like it should sound like a train or some shit like that. That doesn't sound very manly at all. Hey guys, let me get my Cybertruck.
I mean, if I'm blowing
Yeah.
my whistle, there's
what I
nothing
was
manly
hoping.
about it anyway, right? Like,
Is it
just be happy
because
that's
of-
the weapon of choice I picked.
Just
It should-
just because of the
what-
speakers, or does it really sound better than what it just sounded like on over the?
I'll have to
When you
replay
when
it
you
back
blow
and
that
hear it. I'm
whistle,
not
it should
sure if
say,
it's-
"Look how big my dick is." That's what it should say.
Like,
No, this is definitely not that kind of whistle. No, this is
rib
definitely
it, rib it like a monster can. All of a sudden, it'll be better.
it's definitely a very. I thought only my dog could hear it the first time I heard it. Yeah, first time I blew it. Like, it's one of those.
About a $60 crap whistle. It does look cool though. It does look cool.
But how many of those are ever made? Now that I can make anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a unique item. It's a collector's.
It's like the
good
shorts.
job, Don.
I
Good
remember Don
purchase.
trying to get the shorts. You never got the shorts, did you?
No. I try to buy all the test stuff it comes out with, but they don't
Yeah.
announce anything. It's usually just late. I think the only reason I happen to get that is because it's Doge. If it was just regular cash, there's no way I would catch it.
Good point. I'm still salty over the not a flamethrower that I didn't get. I should have got. I had every opportunity to get it and I didn't. And I'm.
That's how it was with my the quad that they came out with. I had it in the cart, and I know I don't need it, and I'm trying to do better because, like, you guys know about my relationship advice. It's not the best. I mean, you know what? I'm going to text my wife this time and say, should we buy some of these? And, so I do. She goes, no, we don't need that. It's like, fine. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to buy it anyway. And then by the time I even came back to make that decision, it was already sold out. I was like,
And that was a quad, like a side by side.
no, it was a four-wheeler.
A 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I
for
wish you'd
kids.
have pulled the trigger on that.
Yeah,
right.
Me too. It's like one of my biggest regrets. I wish I would have done it, especially because then I even saw it. Like, if she even got mad and I decided to sell it, they're like $2,500. Not big. They're selling on eBay for $4,500.
Oh my God, Don!
day, I was like,
We
"Man."
could have been riding together on your Tesla quad, me with the flamethrower on the back, and you
Oh
with your
my
cyber
God.
whistle blowing it, letting everybody know that the flamethrowing quad whistle blowing duo is on the way.
In your
That
red,
would have been the best
Yeah.
thing ever.
in
That'd
your
be the
red
coolest
silk
thumbnail.
shorts, in your red silk shorts,
Oh.
and nothing else.
If we have any graphic designers watching, can somebody please conceptualize that? And
Yes,
Yeah.
draw
I don't
a
look. Don't
cartoon?
draw me in booty shorts though.
yes.
Why?
Please, no,
Why?
please do that. Please
Do it
do
with
that.
like
That's
giant quads, like bodybuilder quads, and with
Drop
Tesla
ninja
whistle in your
shorts.
mouth. I have a flamethrower. That would be amazing.
That'd be so epic.
It really would be.
Join
All
this.
right.
Drop it in there. On
Last
top.
article for today is an important one. I think it's worth having as well. The European Union has confirmed a sweeping ban on providing crypto services to Russians as it tightens sanctions in the wake of what it calls sham session votes in 4 Ukrainian regions, which was first reported by CoinDesk last week. And, CoinDesk has been a bit sus lately on some of the stuff that they've been reporting, but this is not FUD right now. The bloc introduced an 8th set of economic and political measures against Russia after the February invasion, tightening a previous rule which limited crypto payments to European wallets to 10,000 euros or $9,900. This quote from the EU or European Commission says the existing prohibitions in crypto assets have been tightened by banning all crypto asset wallets, accounts, or custody services, irrespective of the amount of the wallet. Isn't the way around this just to have a cold storage?
Yes, this is big time FUD. I mean, Russia is the new China when it comes to cryptocurrency bans. And I'm glad that you read the article verbatim, because at least it says the EU bans crypto services, because that's about as far as you're going to get, is either an on-ramp or off-ramp of specific crypto related apps, because you cannot ban crypto altogether. It's just not going to happen. It'll go to the black market. There's all kind of Tor browsers. There's all kind of VPNs. There's all kind of ways that you can still interact with crypto, whether your country allows it or not.
I
So
lived in Latin America, black markets for the dollar, huge during the 80s and 90s. So
right.
crypto,
So
black market, it's out there, guys.
yeah,
Right,
this is fun.
And this is why, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is why banning cryptocurrencies or trying to ban Bitcoin will never actually work, right? I mean, they can do what they can is from a software side of things, I guess, and limit transactions in that way when it comes to warm wallets. But with cold storage and being able to obtain crypto in that fashion, that the argument against, you have some people out there that are like, well, governments can ban this kind of stuff, and it's like, they really can't, right? I mean, there's always going to be a way around it. It's just like trying to ban guns or anything else.
The only way they can ban you is at that off-ramp location. What do we mean by that? Is the fact that an off-ramp is something like Coinbase, Binance, anything that has a link to the fiat out there. So if you have your crypto there, it can be confiscated because they just squeeze the nuts of the off-ramp company that's providing the service. But if you have in a cold wallet, there's no way to ban it. Like, there's no way to block it because it's decentralized. It's not a centralized technology. It's global. So that's the difference.
It just hinders new people coming into the space who are looking for an easy way to get in and an easy way to get their currency out. So people who don't have a higher understanding of the crypto world will get discouraged and just say, well, it's not for me, I can't do it, and that's that. But people who are already in the space, there's a million ways around this. So you just link up with somebody who already knows, or just wait for the inevitable regulation and worldwide use of it, because it's coming.
You know that everyone that they're mentioning, like the Russians and all that stuff, if they're at that level with amount of funds in crypto, trust me, to them is like, all right, bro, do your best, try it. It's just impossible. Go ahead, Don.
What's the pros and cons? I mean, I think I have an idea, but just the way Tam said that, you wait till regulation. What's the pros and cons of that?
Well, I mean, regulation is going to bring a lot more people into the space, a lot more money into the space. And with that comes overall maturity, not just in the assets in the crypto world, but also, again, the software built for the regular mom and pop to be able to access the space, get it to where they can feel it, hold it, and then, get it out. It's just an ease of use. And that ease of use and development for that sort of thing is not going to happen until crypto is regulated. And, we can do this legally according to lawyer speak. Right now, just like you said, it's still the wild, wild west because it is unregulated. So that means a lot of times with that sort of space comes a difficulty of use, which is easily the largest barrier to more people in cryptocurrency right now. Education is free. You can get that and understand, wow, this is something I want. But being able to get used to transacting in this world right now is difficult. I mean, there's a lot of hard lessons that people have to learn a lot of times, losing currency, something like that. But you eventually figure it out. But crypto right now does not pass the grandma test, and it won't until there's regulation and ease of software built on top of it.
But you can already see the institutions getting ready for regulation to be released. Fidelity, BlackRock, all these huge institutions, that's all they're waiting on. They're building already towards it.
Yep.
That's what I think could actually be a whole show in itself. For those that want to wait, fine. Why not? No one's going to pressure anybody. But for those that take on the risk ahead of time, I think there's going to be that bump up. So that's one of the pros of getting in before regulation is you just get that free little step up handout. How would you word that? You're
just ahead of the curve. I mean, it's not luck when you've researched and you understand why Bitcoin especially is such an asset to hold and why it's inevitable. I mean, it's not luck at that point. Yes, it's going to be hard to get at this point. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people who can remember before Coinbase, before crypto.com, when it was really hard to get Bitcoin. I mean, you had to have some decent understanding in the space to make a wallet, where to get the Bitcoin from, and how to hold it in your cold storage. Now it's easier now relatively, and it will continue to get easier to pass the grandma test. But right now it's not that hard, relatively speaking.
I would love to have that conversation, Don Front, tomorrow, if you don't mind, if you can join us, because here's someone that we all know is in that bleeding edge, that has been building for a long time in this industry. And before the on ramps, off ramps, he actually began with the dark web to figure this out. And this is the question, which we'll not cover right now because we're out of time. But what would you bet on yourself? So far, he's bet, Peter, $1.7 million during a recession on himself and his people. I would love to cover that because now we can enter and see what the industry is doing after the fact. All of us in here have seen what we've been building. Now, all of a sudden, we're seeing so many others declaring the same path, the same goals. So we will cover that at some point.
And that's what we have to look forward to tomorrow. Until then, we have birthdays. We got Brett Gelman, who's 45, who started in The Other Guys. That movie was probably one of my favorite movies of all time as far as comedies are concerned. Trevor Lawrence is 22. We also have Jazz Jennings, who's 21. Addison Rae, the TikTok star, is at 21. And then, of course, we have Tori Black, who is 34. She was a star of Pretty Sloppy, Race Relations 2, Bad Girls 5, Don't Tell My Wife I'm Banging My Secretary, and Anal Buffet 5. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for DCTV. Make sure you're going to check out the Discord. Links are in the description and in the chat here as well. And we can't thank you enough. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one.